$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker of Seven Seals. Follow from yesterday, but it'll take 2 days to much more to talk about. Well, anyway, the main target are these demons. We talk about separation as we see these things are very clear, so you wonder why they're so muddled. Why is it? What's going on? Because these things are so clear. So it must be a force, a confusing force, because everything happens. I mean, nothing happens without a force. So if the light is so clear, man, those set in darkness are seeing a great light. Then what were they seeing before the light? It means there had to be a force that was confusing the light, blurring the light, blocking the light. Because it's so clear. But the point is, see, light has fire in it. So if you block it, you have to be able to handle that fire that comes with it. That fire just it's resonance. Light is resonance. The more you shine, the hotter it gets, right? That's resonance. You keep shining light on it, and more light on it. So it gets hotter and hotter. The more you block it, the hotter it gets. That's why it burns your ass up. That's what's happening. The world's being motivated. Light motivates, activates. You can tell the form of the activation by the form of the light. Look at it. The world's in confusion right now. I mean, the light, the heat is changing it. You know, fire changes things, heats up things, increase pressure, collisions. You see right now in the world is, I mean, you know, the media is trying to downplay everything. Or you look at CNN and they downplaying everything, right? But when you look around, I mean, actually, if you look CNN and Fox together, you see that they saying opposite things. So you know something's wrong. I mean, in general. Look at everybody's talking World War III. They're going to be war any minute now. Freedom from America. They're freedom for America. They're just moving ships into place. You know, remember just outright murdering people. Just, yeah, and nobody's stopping him because he's going to. Why is the court stopping him? He's, and remember, this international waters. You're in international waters. That means no one has no control over you. He's going out there blowing these people up in the boats. I don't know who they were or anything. He's blowing them up. Murderer. You say, why is this stuff, behavior being tolerated? And then if we see what's going on in falsehoods with Gaza, why is this tolerated? Because, can I explain this to you? What you're seeing is, see, you're looking at what they're saying instead of the action. What you're seeing is confusion and, there was another way of saying it. Okay, you got water at rest, right? And then you put a fire and it starts moving real fast, it's getting hotter. But it can't stop by itself. It might want to cool down, but it can't as long as that fire's there. So therefore, it's going to start adjusting to that fire. And so what you see, look at the fire you see going over in Gaza. See the fire going over in Venezuela, it's blowing. I mean, shit, everything is, in America has no, just, you know, you see deceptions and assassinations and all this stuff going on. See, you don't look at what they're saying, just look at, I mean, you can get something out of that too. But see, that's evidence of the nature of things. It means it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. At what time does it boil? That's what you have to notice. And the thing is that, see, what's another way of saying this? Like, standard, if you will, would be, okay, the word is like normal. Well, normal is a word that's relative. Right? So if everybody's out there eating shit, that means everybody's normal. Because everybody's doing it. Normal means, it means just what everybody's doing. What the majority of people is doing. So this, I mean, in the laws, just the laws, it was normal. So when they had us back in the fields, that was normal. So the laws reflected that. You see what I'm saying? So when things change, they change the laws because laws just reflect what's normal. So right now, it's normal to do this thing. So the old law, they're not respecting that. They come with a new law forever. What's new law now? We're the War Department. We just kill it, you know, I mean, stuff that was totally not normal a while back is normal now. That's why, of course, nobody said anything. If they got you back in the fields again, that would be normal. I wonder if I'm making sense to you or not. Because America is doing what it wants to do. It's not following any laws. I mean, it's openly just doing it because I'm put it another way. Okay, you can make a law. Say make a law, you're in that pot, right? And you make a law that the temperature in that pot has to be 40 degrees. That's the law, right? So everything's moving around at 40 degrees. cool. And then you turn the fire up, and everything's moving at 80 degrees. Well, that law is no good anymore. Because now everybody's a criminal. You see? Even the people that's supposed to be enforcing it. So they change the law they adjust to the new law at 40 degrees. They got to 70 degrees, 90 degrees. You see what I'm saying? If you look at it from that point of view, so everybody's acting, because they're not acting according to the law, they're acting according to the circumstance. The law is just to justify a circumstance. That's the best way of saying it. This reacting so it understands right now is the world is hot. And so that's why these countries and everything acting like they're acting, because everything is moving faster and faster, more collision pressures building. And the pressures is America's he'll feel the most, because the consequence of their action the last 5 years. I don't want to get deep in that, bro, since like I said, it's going to be 2 days before I can talk about all the things I want to talk about. I want to try to get you to understand, look at things. Okay? Right now, everybody's, because everything's heating up. So they have to talk in relative to how everything's heating up. So yeah, they just killing people, doing stuff. I'm in shock, but it becomes normal after a while. Everybody's shocked, oh man, look at it, they kill all those people over there. Well, that means because everything is heating up. And then America, you see, America is in more trouble than anybody else because they're the ones that's most desperate. They're the ones trying to cool down because it's too hot for them. That's what America said, we got to change that. We got to stop this. We got to get terrorists. We got to take this. See? Because when the heat comes up, things come apart. So America's coming apart. And he got Trump trying to hold it together. Oh man, no, we got to do this. We have terrorists. We're the War Department now. Because they're bluffing, want to scare everybody. It's not going to work. Nobody's being scared. I hope making sense to you, brothers and sisters, right? Because I'm really talking too many things here, I think. I'm trying to give you an idea of how to see how things happening right now. So who's reacting the worst? Who's reacting, put it this way, who's reacting the worst to what's going on in the world today? Well, it's in America. Acting the worst. Right? Because they're the most desperate. They're trying to hold things, keep control, they lose control. When you do things, that means you lose control. When you get violent, it means you lose control. If you got control, you don't need violence. Who's the most violent country in the world today? Well, it says right in America. Why? They're trying to maintain control. That means they're the ones most in trouble. They're the ones in the most trouble. If you understand. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Time goes by so fast. So let's see I'm going to play a few things, brothers and sisters. Because the thing is that it's the bloodbath coming, and it's coming fast. It's coming fast. It's being like, it's going to be here before you know it. Right? And the big one, our major problem, that's why it says, Suleiman, that's where Son of Man comes from. They can make all stuff they want to. Suleiman, Son of Man. Suleiman's supposed to be Sul-Oman, play on words, Sul, Son, Oman. Right? It's not me, his Son of Man. Elijah Muhammad didn't understand that. I don't know what Master Muhammad told him, but he never told him he was Son of Man. That was Elijah Muhammad's interpretation. Because they tell you clearly, Son of Man had nappy hair, woolly hair, and dark skin. So that's clearly not matched by Muhammad. We're not going to, I'm not knocking Elijah Muhammad. Right? He's supposed to prepare the way before the Son of Man or before the Messenger to come. Anyway, the bottom line is that one of the main problems, one of the main targets is the demons. It means masters, black-faced children that's mixed in with us. They're the ones causing all confusion, all trouble. If you read Mark, Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, NY backwards, he's the main one. They said evil spirits they talk about demons. Because we're all spirits, but they're evil spirits. Because they got the spirit of the devil. But they're spirits. If you look in Angel, the original nation was called spirits, the 7 spirits. But it got corrupted. So they had 7, so they had 3 evil spirits. Those are demons. They refer to them as demons. Half devil, half man. Play on words. And they said someone sowed chaff amongst the wheat. They talk about wolves amongst the sheep. And so that's the problem we have, because that's what's caused confusion in our community. And that's what Suleiman's main job is to do, is to take and force them out. That's why when this war resumes, that's one of the first things will happen. The accuser of our brethren will be cast out. Him and all his sycophants, demons. It says that in Exodus. That war resumed, the 4 winds were blowing, right? It says all those with Moses came into Aaron's camp, and separated those that was not with Aaron, with the mess of the covenant. He separated them from those that stayed with Aaron, and then he slaughtered Aaron, all his people. Don't say Aaron, but I mean it's conclusive, isn't it? If he went in Aaron's camp, he pulled out the ones that was with Aaron, those with mess of the covenant. The other ones that wasn't with them, they had to stay with Aaron. I mean, well, Aaron left too, then what was they there for? They stayed with Aaron. So then he still killed everybody that was left in the camp. But see, this is very clear. And like I said, it's breaking through. It's going to break through in a minute. Because this heat is see, right now, they burn up over there, so-called NOI. It's burnt. Oh, they ass getting burnt. You can see, you almost smell the flesh over here. They burn up over there. They're confused. Farrakhan, right? He can't even wipe his own ass. That's why they don't show him. He's all messed up. Incontinent. They got to put him in diapers, and and he can't put him on. They got to put it on himself. On them, put him on his diapers on. It depends on. They have to put it on him. He's barely coherent, if at all. He shouldn't have pissed in a bag. Right? I guess it really needs to depends if that's the case, isn't it? That's why I'm here, so we'll see. And they run around confused because they don't know what to do. Because they stuck with their own lies now. Their own lies have crippled them. Because they could tell you what, Farrakhan's the one. They never say anything coming after Farrakhan, right? They ever tell you about anything coming after Farrakhan? No. Farrakhan's the one who's going to do everything. That's what they was. But now Farrakhan's out of it. So how are they going to position somebody coming? They're going to build Ishmael now? How they going to? He wouldn't follow his own stuff out of burning the building. They stuck in their own lies now. Their lies caught with them. But now they've been lying. The Exodus clearly says that Joshua would be the one, right? Mention the covenant, be the one after, but they say ain't nobody after. Anyway, let's move on, brothers. I need to talk slower, more clearly. I'm trying. I'm trying.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching. Lessons, Supreme Wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Yep, trouble in paradise. See what's happening is Farrakhan is an agent. He's been compromised. He's been working for the devils for over 40 years, right? And then some of these also They're also agents. Some of these. I don't know which ones. I know he is. Some of my agents. I was warned, I was warned by, and there was agents in there when Elijah Muhammad was around. Because I was warned by Minister James Shabazz, like I'm ex in Newark, 25 in August 21st, 1963. And when I realized Elijah was running this temple I was looking for, and he was in Chicago, I wanted to leave. He tried to convince me to stay. He said there was agents every square feet, and this was in 70. The agent every square foot in that place. And I believe him, because when Elijah Muhammad departed, it was like overnight these people they bad-mouthed the messenger, they hated the messenger. The messenger was no good and everything else. I mean, Wallace didn't really have to do much because the atmosphere was already right for him. And some of these here, you're going to find in a minute. But it's easy to see a Farrakhan's agent. I mean, even on his own website, he shows you what the FBI was planning to do. That's how stupid they are over there. What the FBI was planning to do in Elijah Muhammad's absence. What their plans were, their strategies, their tactics. And if you go look at that and look what happened, that's exactly what happened, what they said. So he says coincidence. In fact, even if they didn't make it happen, they still got what they wanted. They got exactly what they wanted. They said if they didn't get that, they were going to destroy the Nation of Islam. Then they were going to break it up into different groups, so it'd be a lot of confusion. That's exactly what happened. They were going to change philosophy to self-help. Right? Not race hate anymore, not calling devils anymore. That's exactly what happened. So how come they don't see that? Because some of them don't want to see it. It's not going to matter for them because they're not Abraham's seed. The other one's just blind, and I'm just stupid. You don't want them. Right? And it really, I mean, it's going to be difficult to find the best ones out there because like putting peanuts out of shit. Because even what our scripture says, they wait for the message of the covenant. But damn, it's I don't know. It's more about our sisters. Watch this. I would have much trouble with this, but I have trouble with all of it. This one in particular.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our Bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups. Bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track. Farrakhan claims his father may have been a Jew. By J. Correspondent, April 26, 1996. Sign up for Weekday J and get the latest.
One brother says before we go any further, that clown, this is this, he can holler scream all he wants. It's totally against everything Elijah Muhammad taught, totally against the letters, totally 99%, 99%, totally. This is this. It's not about skin color. No, it's not about skin color. You're right about that. But it's not about what they're saying. And they are brothers, totally against the letters, totally against Elijah Muhammad's teeth, totally. I have $5,000 to say prove different. Totally. And This FBI thing. It's look at it. That's what they say. And they actually got on their site the letter from the FBI. And you can get it. It's on the internet. He gave them everything they wanted. Don't call it devils anymore. We ain't going anywhere. Elijah Muhammad said it was devils. He said we was leaving here. He said we ain't going nowhere. Devils ain't devils anymore. Right? No existing economic. He talking about economic where? He said build a damn thing, nothing. He's built himself. He's a multi-millionaire plus his son. Neither one have any business. Everything that the FBI said, and plus all this factualism, Eric, the next over there, got a guy called Sullivan, they're all agents. See? They paid, they're out there with that stuff to keep you confused. Because this so-called son of man, he just popped up recently, right? I know he popped up because, he got here and everything else, and he called himself son of man, so he got to be the one. He was with Elijah. They're trying to find somebody like me, so he said he's just like him. So which one are you going to listen to? Okay. I know I set him up because he said, hey, I'm the son of man. He actually said he's the son of man. Clear. Okay. Nappy hair, showed nappy hair, and he was with Elijah and all this stuff. And he was in the military. I know his background similar to mine. I know why I set that up. Confusion. All of them full of shit. None of them broke the seals. None of them are talking about leaving here and going home. They're still back in that program. None of them are talking about race hatred. Muhammad didn't teach race hatred. He told race truth. So if you hate the truth, it's your problem. He told the truth. I don't hate rats and roaches. I don't want them in my house though. Get rid of them. That's the situation, brothers and sisters. That's what's going on. Everything that they wanted, they got. They said the alternative was to get rid of it altogether. Well, it's still there, right? So the FBI changed their mind. They said it had to be done. He said it was a threat to the country. So it's a threat to the country, they just forgot about it? No, they got everything. He gave them everything they wanted. Devils ain't devils anymore. We ain't going nowhere. Those are core principles of Elijah Muhammad. So these clowns that's with Farrakhan, that love him for everything else, they have no. He's got you. Stay there. Because remember, this whole thing's about separating demons from the saints. And Farrakhan's doing a good job of drawing them. Right? He could have done a better job, right? But he's doing what he's supposed to. He's drawing them to him.
Farrakhan claims his father may have been a Jew. By Jake.
Okay, then this one. Remember, this is Farrakhan talking. You can't get this stuff's hard to get around. This is he talking. Okay. But they don't want to hear this. Okay, whatever. I'm just showing Farrakhan.
Farrakhan claims his father may have been a Jew. By J. Correspondent April 26, 1996. Sign up for Weekday J and get the latest on what's happening in the Jewish Bay Area. Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. "If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community, Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations, said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked. Tommy Baer, international president of B'nai B'rith, called the protesters messengers of hate that are harming relations between blacks and Jews, and between blacks and whites. We would prefer that there be serious dialogue between responsible Jewish and black leaders who oppose this hateful rhetoric to improve relations and discuss important issues, Baer said in a statement. Muhammad said that by locking their doors, B'nai B'rith and the ADL showed that they are afraid to deal with us head-on. He added, "It would be better to just deal with me because there could be an occasion where we would return with an army." After the abortive protest, another rally against the ADL planned by Muhammad and Shabazz fell flat when officials at Howard University announced they would not be allowed onto the campus. The two have been barred from the university since 1994. 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5 And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6 And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Okay, brothers, sisters, a couple of things. First of all, that's some side talking there. So he would go alone. But when he appears, he won't have a bunch of followers. He takes down son of perdition, Farrakhan, accuser. But let's go back, I'm going to go back and play something because he slipped up. Remember, Percival Clark's his father. They claim no. Right? Percival Clark, his father. Now you can Google it. You see, it's a Caucasian man, right? He's not no light-skinned Jamaican. Caucasian man, he may be Jamaican, but he's Caucasian. It's your nationality, Jamaican. They try to dismiss that. But he says his mother's name was Sarah, I think he said Sarah Mae Clark. Word! He slipped up there. See? because he says we got a lot of different stories. One, that he was raped by his rapist father. See, he has the name of Walcott, which was the man that she was living with. This guy named, I don't know what his first name was. Name was something Walcott, right? That's where Lewis. That's where Farrakhan got his name, Lewis Eugene Walcott. But she says that wasn't his father. She was living with him, but she had a relationship with this other guy who was living with him. He said, well, it was a rape relationship. And then all the time he says that was his father. Because remember, in this here he says his father's parents were white Portuguese Jews. I'll play a little bit of that in a minute. Again, just so you know what I'm talking about. But what he slipped up was, he said her name was Sarah Mae Clark. So was she married to this guy, Percival Clark? That was his name. I know nobody's ever paid attention to that. Let me say it again real quick, then move on. Let me do it this way.
Farrakhan claims his father in the Jewish Bay Area. Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates. Issue of the New Yorker magazine. Suspects that his father may have been Jewish. Father may have been a Jew. By J. Correspondent. Farrakhan claims his father may have been a Jew. By J. Correspondent, April 26, 1996. Sign up for Weekday J and get the latest on what's happening in the Jewish Bay Area. Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the
white Portuguese parents. That means his father's white Portuguese parents. That means his father was white Portuguese. Seed, he's seed of his father. His father's parents were white Portuguese Jews. Based on the Jewish law, it makes Farrakhan a Jew. Right? Black-faced Jew. White Portuguese parents. Play it again to make sure you get it.
Get the latest on what's happening in the Jewish Bay Area. Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of Mae Clark.
You know, son of Mae Clark. See, he slipped up on that one. Because Clark is the name. If you Google it, it shows you a picture of his father, Percival Clark. See, so she was either married to him, right? Because when he told him that, so he said because either he thought she was married to him or she was married to this Clark and lived with this Walcott guy. Whatever the situation was, he presented her last name as Sarah Mae Clark. See? He don't have that name in his name, but he says father, right? And if you go and look at, Google it, you see Percival Clark. And you get a picture of him. Slipped up on that one. Okay, one more time, then we'll go and move on.
Cite the Torah. Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica.
Let me set up. His name was Gene. Let me say it. Let me play it again.
Who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from...
See how they get mixed up? Gene, that wasn't his father. That was Walcott. Eugene. His name was Eugene Walcott. Right? That wasn't his father. That was the one that raised him. He was a light-skinned Jamaican. He just told you. Both of them can't be light-skinned Jamaicans. One's Caucasian. There was two men in his life. There was the one that is actually father and the one that raised him. Gotta pay attention. So this one, he was light-skinned Jamaican. That's how he's switching around now. That's where he got Eugene from Eugene Walcott. I couldn't remember that. Walcott. That was his mother's boyfriend, whoever he was. That's the one that raised him. But the Clark person, that was his father. He was Caucasian. He wasn't no light-skinned Jamaican. He just told you. His father's people were white Portuguese Jews. White Caucasian Portuguese Jews. See, people don't pay attention to these things. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to show you something else. I'll find it real quick. I have those two parts. I can't do all today. This real quick. Here you go. Show you something here. Give me a second, brothers and sisters. Trying to hide it. Give me a second, brothers and sisters. Oh, they worked on this one. Doesn't matter. Okay, here, this one was good enough. This one good enough. Okay, let me see if I can show you this, brothers and sisters. Nope, not that one. There you go. Let me do this. There you go. Hope you can see his brothers and sisters. But okay, I guess that's good enough. See it right there, brothers and sisters? Percival Clark. Louis Farrakhan's real father. Percival Clark. So I can do something here. Okay. It doesn't show real good here. I want to see it exactly like it's showing on the Google. Louis Farrakhan's real father. It's right there. That's the father right there. Make this any bigger. Okay. And he's not the seed of Abraham. He's not original. It's a black-faced demon. See, they're trying to hide it now. Remember Clark. Oh, yeah, let me show his name. Let me show his name. Percival Clark. His name. Percival Clark. Remember? Her mother's name was Sarah Mae Clark. Slipped up on that one. His real father. That's where she got the clock from. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. I wanted to show you Percival Clark. They're trying to walk it back. Okay. They're trying to walk it back, but they can't. Okay. Here's another one. That's Farrakhan's father. Original. You understand the lessons? That means his devil. Black-faced devil. Sheep wolf. Wolf in sheep clothing. I got this clown right here. He's trying to get out of it. Let me show it. If I can show it, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm not going to worry about it. You guys, I'm not supposed to say, he's trying to say that, oh, it's a different Percival Clark. Okay, whatever. Let me close up. Oh, they really trying to cover their ground. It's too late. Busted.
Farrakhan claims his father may have been a Jew. By J. Correspondent April 26, 1996. I have trodden the wine press and get the latest on what's happening in the Jewish Bay Area, or I will tread them in Washington, D.C., Louis trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled. 3. I have trodden the...
Okay, I'm talking a little about this bloodbath, brothers and sisters. This is the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. We don't care if you don't want to hear the truth, fine. Noah came, he said the truth. There's a flood coming, build an ark. Those who didn't listen, they got drowned. Simple as that. Noah didn't lose any sleep over it. I'm not going to sleep over it. We get information, brothers and sisters. Nobody's asking you to join anything, nobody's asking for any money, anything. Just give me information. And you do what you will do it. Do what you want to do with it. But death is coming. It's racing here. Would you get caught up in it? Okay, let's talk about the Injil mind first. I'm gonna go to some of these. I'm not gonna get to all the spells. Not today. Let's see here. Elijah Muhammad went toe to toe with the devils. Toe to toe. Man had education, anything. He met Master Muhammad. Muhammad left him here. He didn't sit there and coach him and talk to him and help him. No, he left him here. Trained him 3.5 years, trained him here. He would toe to the devils. And then what happened? American, oh man. Don't call devil devil anymore, he ran. He didn't want to fight. He's a coward. He gave everything they want. You can't get around that, brothers and sisters. Go look at it. You can Google it. That thing, I didn't make it up. That's what they wanted, and he gave them everything they wanted. Everything. Right? Self-help, Scientology. There wasn't any devils anymore. That's the hatred part, right? And separation, we ain't going nowhere. Every point they asked for, he gave them, everyone. Because he's with them. He's son of perdition. He's with them. Plus, he is one of them. He's a black-faced devil. He's a wolf in sheep clothing. And if you want to keep hanging with that, fine. Then you get the result. I ain't got time for the ark. I'm going to watch NBA. What you watch NBA? Don't get on the ark. See if that. We're just getting information, brothers and sisters. Here, see? He's ignorant. He's not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings, and what he is, he's teaching philosophy. But the book is closed to him. See, it's sealed to him. So he can't see it anyway. So he hasn't predicted anything. I predicted something about something happened in 1983. It was 83, 85, I guess. Armageddon, right? It started, 3 years ago? You seen Armageddon? Watch the weather. Really? I go NBC for that one. And then he says, well, I had a vision in 1985. God told me to go tell the world from him that this is going to happen with America. I just planned. 85, right? That's what he says. Go read it. I reproduced it. 85. 87. He don't do anything. He said, well, I mean, he said, Elijah told him to go and tell the world. He didn't. So why didn't he do it? Why are you waiting for? So 87, the newspaper gets a hold to the story and they publish it about this America's plan in the Middle East. They publish it, make it public. Remember, 85, he claimed he had this vision, and Elijah Muhammad told me, I'm not embellishing. Go and check it out. It's actually words. In fact, they talked about it, I think, the Sunday before last. Exactly what they said. 85. That's how stupid they are. So, but he spoke, well, how come you go tell anybody? Nothing. So 87, the newspapers get hold of it, they tell the story, and he still don't say anything. So 89 comes in, he had a press conference telling everybody what everybody already know now. Elijah told me 4 years ago, how come he tell somebody 4 years ago, now it's public to everybody? I was cracking up. Yeah, every Sunday, shit show. It won't be too many more. Because that's been like a punishment to me or something. I have to listen to that shit every Sunday. That's what it is, shit. Bullshit. And they have a lie, their procedures is a lie. They have a lie, just procedures a lie. What the hell is this? The window stuff, doing kind of stuff you asked for? These devils, boy. And then and then that's it. And they said he predict. Who else could predicted that? Like so-called Million Man March. He didn't organize that. He was part of it. 99% of the people there. What's happening? What the hell? My brother said they mess. So I don't know if this is coming through or not. They mess with. The next step is violence, brothers. I can tell you right now. Boy, he's trying to say, this. Oh, it's a different personal clock. Telling you, bro, sister, hold on. That's because they mess with my system, brothers and sisters. I can tell you. So I gotta check and make sure, because I'm not going to do this and find out that. They're trying to give me a stroke, bro. Because every day it's stuff out of nowhere. Well, let me see what happens. At any rate, the book is sealed, and it would be unsealed only by the Lamb. No one could do it, not even the God. Only he could do it. And no one's claimed he broke no seals. Elijah didn't claim it. Hasn't, even he hasn't claimed that. No one claimed it. The seals are broken, and it's proven. So the book is sealed to him because he's a liar. He's not the Messiah. Let's move on. The thief cometh not but to steal and kill and destroy. See, God's got rich off of it. He has to produce a damn thing. How come to have life and have it more abundantly? See, by giving you the knowledge. Not just giving you the knowledge so you can have life, so that you might have life. How you get it? Through the knowledge, how it works. Now, I talked about it yesterday. I'm not going to go into it today because I'm running out of time here. Right? So I bypass that part. I will explain. I explained it yesterday in detail, so you can go look at that. But I had planned to do a more detail this and add more to it. But I'm running out of time here, so I won't be able to do it today. But the bottom line here is, consequence is the very essence of the universe, very essence of God himself. That's the most perfect name, consequence. In fact, that's when they refer to God as consequence. They say a lot, many times they actually run a consequence. They said, well, Newton can't with a damn thing. Reap what you sow, that's consequence. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. There's no exception to that. Well, people, God forgive you. No, he cannot forgive you in that sense. You always say, forgive you, repent. That means, okay, I forgive you, right? But you better get that $1 million back you stole. You can't keep the $1 million until I have forgiveness. That's why with the person you call Jesus always told you to repent. That means pay it back. Then you say, okay, your slate is clean. But see, the devils don't have any fear. He said, no fear of God for the eyes means no fear of consequence. That's why he's able to do what they was able to do, because if they knew what the consequence of their action was, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it. So right now, they've been taken from everybody, so everybody's now has been dammed up. That's why they call it what they call it a period of grace. See, let me tell you something. Christianity is a big lie. We can prove it. Right? I mean, prove it. It's easy to prove, actually. But the bottom line is, okay, look at it. Okay, I'm just talk about this for a minute. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Was it earlier? I was saying, the bottom line is, if you love something, you don't change it. If you hate something, you change it. The more you hate, the more you change it. That's obvious, right? That's how you know you hate something, because you change it. And you know how much you hate it, how much you change it. Because you can either change it or get rid of it. Or maybe do it both. Change and get rid of it. Get rid of it. You don't have to do nothing to change because you already got rid of it. That's what you're going to do if you hate it. The more you hate it. So look at our situation. They hate us 100% because they change us 100%. They leave nothing left of us but us. And they try to even change us. With the demons, the black-faced devils, they change everything. That means they hate us 100%. There's no other way you get around it because they change 100%. And then they dare you to try to reclaim what they change. Try to reclaim your name, try to reclaim your culture. Try to reclaim your land, try to reclaim your nature. Try to reclaim your religion. Try to reclaim what happened. All of a sudden, hell breaks loose. Can't get a job, you lose your job, nobody likes you anymore. Right? Oh, are you a Christian? The whole story Exodus about that, what Moses had to say, this Christian cross. You understand scripture, that breast, what do you call it? Some people call post. Anyway, that was the cross. If you understand Daniel, and they put it because all the devils was biting them. He said, if you believe in that, okay. When you say I'm a Christian, my name is Jacob Ackelbaum. I love Jesus. I love America. He said, then hey, I love you. You go in advance. How do you think Cory Booker and all those clowns got there? That's this person saying, they was, oh, them people, they were killing, shooting dogs and why we care about that? You go to Africa, you see anybody walking around with dogs and cats and picking up dog shit? That's crap they taught you over here. And like I said, they butt bust you and you like it. You call them bus breakers. Butt breakers, right? And you like it. Because if you like it, why you? Because you totally they changed you and you ain't trying to change yourself back. You like being called Mary Knickerbocker. You like walking around with a cross on when that cross, what your grandmother and great grandmother, all them saw when they was raping her. They saw the cross hanging out of his neck. And what's the rap record? I said butt breakers. That's what I think I said that wrong. What's the? How you guys look? What's the track record of Christianity? Christianity was Christian that brought you over here. Christian that raped and beat you for 400 years and terrorized you. Your main test is about terrorism, 24/7. That's what they did to our ancestors. And you say fuck your ancestors. That's what you're saying. You fuck your ancestors because the only hope was that you was going to get there, take a vigil on these people that was doing that to them. So you walk around proudly with a cross on, and it was the Christians that did this to you. Christians stole this land. Christians stole these wars. They had all these wars all over the world before they didn't start these damn wars. Chinese wasn't fighting the Africans. The Africans wasn't fighting Indians. Nobody was fighting anybody. They was in their country doing their thing. And then here come the Christians along with their bullshit and fucked up everything. And now they're going to blame everybody else. And you're talking, who's they following? They're following Satan. Satan's God's way. Tell you that. What? They said, know them by their works. What was their works? What was the works of the Christian? Said, know them by their works, not by what they're saying. What's their works? Works is genocide, death, and false Israel is exposing them. Genocide, murder, rape, torture, terror. That's all they've been doing for the last 5 years, Gog and Magog. And that's when they was in Europe by themselves, that's what they're doing to each other. When they was in Europe by themselves, that's all they had: constant war, constant disease, constant destruction, constant. And that's what they brought out and spread all over the world. So how are you going to tell me that God they were serving is God, is the righteous God? They spread Satan's message. And you walk around with the cross on. My name is Mary, Anthony, Nick and Baba, Nick and Bub or whatever, right? You walk around calling yourself that, and I love America, the same place that it's still in the Constitution, 3/5 human. So it means they fuck you and you like it. I can't say any clearer than that. That's going to change in a minute. But you got those that's pursuing, pushing like Farrakhan. I don't want to stay. Why would you want to stay here? Okay, you've been in prison for 20 years. They beat you. They're raping everything else, right? And now they open the door and say, I ain't going nowhere. Why? Because you like being raped. You like doing the things they had you doing. I want to stay here. I want to go nowhere. I like it here. Ain't that what Farrakhan said? I want to make it good here. Because now I like it. They broke me. Now I like it. I like it. Don't let me out. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out there. I want to stay here with the man, with my man. That's exactly the world sees us. They said they broke them niggas and they like it. They like it. See? And your women see you that way too. Because our women have no respect for us, none. Oh, they say, I wake up, no, you're going to come this way with them. See, you do that to your women, but you won't do it to the man that raped your woman. You won't do that to them, but you beat her down. Get off that, bitch. Hello? But the man is raping your ass, bend you over, the man, you got nothing but love for them. I've been over enough, Master. You finished, Master? Anybody else? You know it's true. We have no respect for you whatsoever. None. Why should she? Why should I want to have respect for us? I understand we was back in the fields. Whole different story. We had no control. But now that you walk around and you're supposed to be free, and you saying, oh, hey, Master, hey, can I bend over for you? You asked me to bend over. Pull your zipper down. My name is Jesse Jackson. Really? Anybody in Africa named Jesse Jackson? Because you like it. They changed 100%. They hate you 100%. They made you into what they want you to be, and you like it. So now, consequence catching up. We're supposed to submit. We submit. Now that day is over. So now consequence, doing them as they done to you. All the hell's opened up, and everybody said they've been done. Devils, America, if you read the seals, they're all talking about America, 1/4 of the earth. All because they've done something to everybody, and now Day of reckoning, that's what judgment. Judgment is a time when consequence is served. That's what judgment is. The consequence is realized. Right? Justice, right? So, I mean, if there's a day of judgment, that means things were held up. For some reason, things were held up. And now the day comes when everything is let loose. The dam is broke. And hell, it's going to be hell here on this earth. It's going to be hell here in this country. We're talking about days wait belts this year. You got to pay for everything they've done. It says, all Babylon did in one day, 1 year, 5 years of what they've done will come in 1 year. That's what that's about, brothers and sisters. And some of you are going to be here in the midst of this. Isn't it? Demons like Farrakhan, that's what separation has to come. Separate them out. And those that woke up, remember? Look at the story about Michael. He raised those that woke up. He took them out here. And then the other ones didn't wake up until he took them out. And they had to go to tribulation. So those sleeping in the dust, they still sleep. And then they woke up after Michael delivered the elect. Some everlasting life, some everlasting sin upon them. That means they had to fight their way through it. Come on, brothers and sisters. So this is Mark. You read Mark. I'm not going to do it, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I got to move on. It's Mark, but I'm going to have to do this a couple of days. Just so much to talk about, and I get to talk about, so it's so much. And when I've been doing it, I think, it probably take an hour. Then I start talking. I figure I've done an hour. I thought I was going to do 15 minutes. I never teach these lessons. Who's the original man? Who's the colored man? Right? The colored man is a Caucasian white man or Yaku's grafted devil. Well, that's what the gods say. But Pharaoh, no, he ain't called him devil no more. It was a goddamn lie. It was really Elijah between 7 and 75. And Elijah used the word devil all the way up to the time he departed. He never told Pharaoh, nothing about don't call them devils anymore. He may have said don't call white people devils anymore, which is correct. We use the same old thing because being white doesn't make you a devil. And that's why Muhammad's white. That's what trick they use. And Muhammad never said the white man was a devil. He said a Caucasian white man. But you got demons who blackface Caucasians. See? The trick they use. It says the devil. A grafted man which is made weak and wicked. Right? It says, can you reform him? And Farrakhan, let me show you a thing in a few minutes, I'm going to close. Farrakhan says, he's going to reform. He don't want nothing to happen to him. That is not what this lesson say. This is the God talking. These are Master Muhammad's lessons. So tell me he's speaking his lesson? Because this is what he says. Can you reform the devil? And that Farrakhan says he wants to reform him. He said, no. That's what God says. All prophets have tried to reform the devils, but were unable. They agree that cannot be done unless we graft them back to the original man. It takes 600 years. So instead of losing time grafting them back, they decide to take them off the planet. Farrakhan saying. So let me get to that part. I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. He's claiming he's preaching like Muhammad's message, and then it's a lie. Let me play a part. I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. Exodus, a great session. Let me do this one here. I think it's here. Okay.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadakuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, But I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
Everyone says, I love him, I want to stay here. That's not my promise says. It's impossible from the devils. 100% wicked. They cannot be, they can wait to destroy them.
49. I am
So consider this. What are you saying? I don't want to leave prison. I love Charles. He treats me good. I want to stay here with him. Man. I hope they treat him nice.
49.
Right? I don't want to put him in solitary or anything because I love him. I love things he does to me. Sick. I don't want to leave here. I don't want my butt breaker. I don't want to put him in solitary because I like him, because he does it real good to me.
40.
That's what he's saying, brothers and sisters. It's going to change in a minute. Why do you want to say that? After all we've done here? Because he's one of them. His father has done this stuff to us. That's totally against what Master Thomas said. Then he plays and go.
49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
That's my side talking. It sound like Farrakhan? See how he feels about you.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother minister. Both sides. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
That's how I think about you. The ones this most sides. Sisters and the brothers. The ones that putting food on his plate. The ones putting steaks on his plate. And steaks in the refrigerator. Get him $10,000 rings on his finger. $5,000 suits. That's what I think about you. See? And he didn't neglect the part that said when you was alive. Wait, hold it. Who killed him? Him and Wallace killed the Nation of Islam. Period. I'm sure that tomorrow, I'm sure they killed it. They got rid of it. It wasn't Nation of Islam. They started something called Millennials. So he killed it. He neglects that part. He's alive. Who killed it? Now you're back to eat the flesh like a buzzard. See, but the devils that raped us and murdered, see, because he one of them. He raped us, murdered us, terrorized. Oh, I don't want something to happen to him. Oh, I love him. I don't want to see that. I want to stay here. But for you, I want to hope to and put Allah's name on it. I pray Allah, Boy, beat your ass. Farrakhan. Okay, let me close out, brothers and sisters.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work well until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people, and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
I'm reaching a point of saying we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. It's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. That was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are. And that's real. And no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? The population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just let your eyes tell you the truth for once. This is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. There's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident. That's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
Wait, it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, but hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a thing. Is one culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. The gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude.
But
let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of the world. I certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization of my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful. Does your religion
dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying, if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit. Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit. In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, oh, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman. And if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry. He's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, oh, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything in the negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for 1 semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that 1 semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7. Rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today, they took everything away from the slaves, everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza is bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus, what could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. What's your rap sheet, America? Gog? What's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? What's your mateship? What's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel. What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. The legacy of Christianity has been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our past hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your home? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their home 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and We're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go to where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And you know, we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. You know, they was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, you know, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, you know, they were just, you know, did some things wrong, but now they, you know, they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And you know, I mean, this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came here. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. Okay, so we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education or whatever they needed for that. But I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging this former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked at the farmers when they done it. Farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come you know, right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour back's coming in, right? And then they look, you know, and man, they had, you know, a year ago they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. You know, your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't have to fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. What would you tell us for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how is that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep they thought that was just going to, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They you know, business, they didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan's, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, you know, because, I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing you for it. If he thought, if he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, tell him to build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation from, I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it, they tell all the people, and you know, all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is, they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation, right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say $1 million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounce, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. You know, if you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold, right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one's worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates have to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So if $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right, then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They try to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. Maybe $1. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they're just using a different certificate, using another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with it now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't have to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You don't have to engineer, build a house. You don't have to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it Traveland. Farrakhan. They met the Farrakhan, right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I come back work for you, I work for Popeyes, I do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land, that you 6 states. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. See, on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray. That's his answer. Pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, that's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. And they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, we got it, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here, where they, because you know they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you, you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And, oh, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on, really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's some name to call it right there. That 6 day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to them. Said, would we please come and get them? Nope. Said, no, tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you want that idea of reparations? We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, so you might get any more reports on Okay, he says that was Master Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those brides that came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send us some food. Master Muhammad said, no, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read it to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.